Well, I think it's around 9. I told you I'd come back later, so I'm back later. And I'm just going to tell you, today's been one of those days where, like, it's just crashed and burned from the moment I've been up. Um, pretty sure there's no salvation for humanity at this point. Hi, Gypsy. I'm trimming your skunk. I've had such an interesting day. Such an interesting day. Because at the very first of today, hi Jamie, at the very first of today, I had a horrible headache when I woke up. I had a migraine. I had to like sleep it off. It was horrible. I did not rest good last night. Um, but I got on the internet today, and this woman had been posting pictures of this vehicle going down a local road. He threw a candy wrapper out his window. If you see him, tell him about it. If you see him, call the law. I witnessed the crime. So she took a picture of this man's vehicle and put it all over social media. You know, because apparently social media is like the law now. Anyway, so I thought, okay, honey, you shouldn't do that. Because several years ago, when I was a parole officer in Campbell County, Tennessee, there was a woman who did basically the same thing. Only she saw him do an illegal traffic maneuver, a U-turn. Took a picture, put it all over social media, but what she didn't know was it was a felon that was basically going through multiple vehicles of his friends, dodging Popo because he had a warrant while he was trying to get out of the state. Well, the Popo realized who it was driving the vehicle and basically got him caught because of what that woman posted on social media. So he got arrested. He was able to bond out before his court date because it was a lower level. This was like a low level felony. He had enough money to bond out. He was running drugs. Of course, he had enough money to bond out. And when he bonded out, he went and almost beat this woman to death. So I ended up supervising this man for years because this woman posted a picture of the vehicle he had been using to evade cops, and that's how the cops found him. So when I see this woman doing this on social media, I said, hey, you might not want to do that. I've seen this not work out too well. Maybe if you're so passionate about trash pickup, maybe, you know, rather than posting pictures of people's vehicles, grab a trash bag and on them pinchy things and get out there and donate 2 hours or donate some money to a company that picks up trash, or, you know, or if, you know, by God, if you see somebody dump a body, please by all means get their license plate number and tell the Popo. But social media is probably not the best way to do this because it doesn't always end out the way you think it will. And you don't know who this person is. And it might just be somebody who was brave enough to throw a candy wrapper out of their vehicle, but it might also be a career criminal that will turn around, find you, and try to kill you. I said, so, you know, I hope you think about this, and, you know, maybe next time if you get really aggravated like this, you'll calm down and maybe make a better decision, because this one could put you in harm's way. I was really concerned, because, like, the man almost killed the woman. You know, I saw the exact worst that it could ever occur and happen. I witnessed it all and went to the court trial and everything. Supervised the piece of crap and everything. Well, apparently I didn't know that I picked on the only rose that blooms in Fentress County, Tennessee. And that everybody loves her and adores her. And that by me giving her options and giving her more creative considerations for decision making skills and more rational thought processes and a great understanding of how it could end up in a negative manner. So she made me want to be more aware about why, how she's responding to these things. Boy, I got waylaid. And I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings that I got waylaid because I've been called way worse. What irritates me is it just compounds the assumption that I had a few weeks ago that when you give people hope, options, tools for better judgment, they hate you. You're demonic. But if you harass them, belittle them, call them names, cuss them out, it's normal. So they just accept it. We've made hate the new currency. And if it is this entrenched in my little community that used to be so tight knit, I do not see the world coming back from it. I don't. I do not see people backing out of what they now feel pays their emotional bills, being able to be irate and angry and aggressive and condescending, because there is an intoxication that comes with the chemicals that you release during all of that. And it's not as intoxicating to have to stop and think rationally and make good decisions. It sucks sometimes because the impulse is to just knock the crap out of somebody. But if you're logical, you know that that's not going to lead anywhere productive. And then I had people wanting to belittle me and to tell me that I hadn't done my job, or my job wasn't what I thought my job was. It was only what they thought my job was. And then I had a game warden tell me that my job was not that hard. I only supervise murderers. I mean, poachers. But, it was just frustrating. It was just frustrating because I was like, I was not mean to this woman. I came from a place of pure compassion and concern. And holy crap, it was bad. So, how do we change this when we've now been reprogrammed so easily to feed off the endorphins of hate? When we watch the Chief Potato, the Potato in Chief, the man who can't find his way into the White House without help, when we watch him just aggressively just tear apart half of the nation for simply having a different thought process, how do we then tell the other half of the nation that that's counterproductive to having a good country and a positive society in a world where we can commune together? How do we untrain these people? Because honestly, to train someone and untrain someone, there has to be an emotional or a chemical response. There has to be some kind of trigger momentum, whether it's physical, chemical. There's got to be something. What can we create to retrain and recalibrate the minds of the people that are getting such a high off of this negative behavior? I don't think it can be done. I think they have concocted this so neuro deliberately that can't be undone. At least not in 1 or 2 generations. It will absolutely take the complete failure of our nation and bringing people to their knees before they will realize that their behavior and their audacity and their contempt created what destroyed our nation. Because if I see it in my community that usually loves each other, it's everywhere else. And it's much more entrenched. Because normally we're a good 20 years behind the curve. But it's gotten here quickly. It's gotten here quickly. And the few people that are not succumbing to this, it's just because they're critical thinkers or because they have that little voice in their mind that says, no, that's not right, or they've witnessed something that has made them super leery, or they've been in a power struggle dynamic to where they know how to identify it. But so many people in this world have never been in that kind of dynamic or never had to develop those skills. So they don't see it. They just like to feel the power and authority. And then to read what I read this morning and last night, 55 pages. Of a knowledgeable scheme to basically poison the population. I mean, if that neurosurgeon is accurate, in my opinion, I believe he may be, then what's next? Because, yeah, we seem to be a little bit tougher than they anticipated, but what's next? What's next? I know this sounds horrible, but I would like to see the internet shut down. I would like to see the internet shut down. I would like to see cell phones shut down. I would like to go back to landlines. And I would like for people to have to function and focus in their communities, within their communities, solely within their communities, so that they have to strengthen the bonds with the people around them. And they have to cohabitate in an accommodating manner with each other. And they have to relearn the social structures and the hierarchies and the pecking orders. And they have to relearn those social skills. And we have to reform the social construct from that very basic foundation. Because when they gave the world to us at our fingertips, instead of educating ourselves, we just entertained ourselves. And it made us the stupidest fools imaginable. I mean, I had one of those days to where I never thought I would see behavior like this out of people in my community. People that have known me since I was in kindergarten. And you're normally less vicious to people you've known your whole life than you are to perfect strangers, so how will they treat perfect strangers? But it's just sad. It's just extremely sad. It's extremely upsetting. I don't know. But I will say that what I'm fixing to do is lay down and rest for a while. I'm gonna call it an early night, but that Roman Balkamov, whatever, it's the Facts Matter with Roman, whatever his name is. It's a really good show. He just posted one that talks about the bunch of jackasses. We're not allowed to say the number of them. And it identifies the funding source behind it. And so I've not watched it yet, but I just read the bylines, and it seems like it's going to be a pretty riveting episode, and it's completely factual. He shows all of his references and shows where he gets all of his information. I think everybody should probably go watch The Facts Matter and go read that from the NIH, because that's, oh my gosh. It's just, no. I had bad days when I supervised people that killed people. This was just a disconcerting day to see how black a heart can get and still function. I mean, I know people that murder people have black hearts. I anticipate that. I don't anticipate people within my community to just be walking around with black hearts like that. So it was like, how did you get there? What did you open yourself up to? And part of me, I know this is just a complete irrational thought probably, but part of me believes that the stuff that's been pumped in these people is augmenting their nature. I mean, we know now that it embeds in the cellular structure and changes the DNA. So if it can restructure your DNA, can it restructure certain synapses in your brain? Can it restructure certain behaviors due to that? It's a thought process, people. I mean, we are basically just a big battery. Our bodies are just big magnetized batteries. I mean, chemically speaking, we are just a big magnetic battery. We're sensitive to the poles, we're sensitive to magnets, we're sensitive to electric energies, we're sensitive to EMPs. We're just a big magnetic battery. You know, and you can screw up a compass just by rubbing it with the wrong material. So how easy is it to screw up the human body, or the human mind, or the human soul? Alright, these are my late night thoughts that keep me awake at night, because I know that they found a lot of ways to just, short snap and map and alter brain function, because I studied about it in school. I know that there are certain components of the brain that if you shut them off, you can completely augment someone's behavior. You can basically control their behavior. I mean, we had a stupid society that was crazy about lobotomies back in the day. And whatever they show us just a millisecond of the entire movie that they already have made. So what else don't we know about? I learned enough in my field to know that people are too smart for their own good, and they rarely ever use it for positive things. So what don't we know about? And why are we starting to see all this irrational behavior from people that are normally calm, conversational community members? Are you seeing anybody that's having irrational behavior? Are you seeing any extreme behaviors from people that normally don't elicit extreme behaviors? Are you seeing any combative behaviors from people that normally are not combative? I am. I mean, I pay attention to it. Sometimes I poke around on the internet and just test theories. Normally I'm right. It scares the crap out of me. Pay attention the next few times that you interact on the internet. Look at the people that are negative and the people that are positive and tell me who gets the best response. Tell me who is demonized. And yeah, I mean, I'm just a super basic little country girl, and at the root of this, I believe this is completely all good and evil battling it out. But you can't like default and say it's all between God and Satan, because every member of the church is a body of Christ, so we're all in the battle. That would mean that everybody that's evil is part of the body of Satan, so they're all in the battle too. If you believe one side, you have to believe the other. Can't have a yin without a yang. You know, the yo-yo has to go up and down. Hey, Denise. Denise, David's got a work picnic and a 12-hour shift tomorrow, but Sunday I should be able to pick up the quilts and send you pictures. So Sunday I'm going to try to pick them up and send you pictures, and then I'm going to try to the first day. I've got to go. Oh, also I go for my test on Monday. They called me today, so I go for my ultrasound and mammogram on Monday. If I feel like it, then Monday I may try to stop and put them in the post on Monday if I feel like it. If not, then David will take me Tuesday and try to mail them. It just depends on how I feel on Monday. The last couple of days I felt pretty good. Today I had a migraine, but I really think it was allergies because my nose right here hurts. So it's just stopped up and hurts, and I think it's just like hay fever starting in. But y'all, I just have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts that probably would scare the crap out of most of y'all. If you have a moment and you just want to really get out of your comfort zone, go to Brighteon, the Bright Eon, Bright EON, and look up someone called Psynergy. It's Psynergy. And I'm not asking you to like swallow everything that anyone says, but I am saying open your mind. Because obviously we're seeing one of the largest deceptions that's ever happened in our world. I think we can all easily say that we're all seeing some of the largest deceptions that ever occurred in our world. Open your mind and go listen to this person. Just listen to, some of them may be too extreme for you, and that's okay. Pick a couple that seem calmer and watch them. She's very passionate. Sometimes she can kind of get super aggressive, but there are some ideas there that really intrigue me, especially when you counter cross them with some other physicians and neurosurgeons and virologists that are coming out and saying some things. So if you have a chance, go check that out. But definitely watch The Facts Matter with Roman. Pay attention to your world. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people. Make sure you're testing the people you're around. Make sure you're looking for any illicit, odd, strange behaviors, and just pay attention. I just really feel like there is just a huge veil hiding something that should be in plain sight. I feel like I should be seeing it because of my education and my background, and because I have a little bit more of a sixth sense than most people. I feel like I should be seeing this. I feel like there's just this huge veil on something that should be so obvious to me, and I feel like when I do finally realize it, I'm going to feel stupid because I didn't just blatantly see it. But all I know is if I get more people looking, maybe we'll find it quicker. But there's something else going on. I just want to know what the crap it is. I will tell you that guns are not what kills most kids. In 2021, suicide killed 51% of America's youth that died. Mental health issues are up like 137% across the board. Oh yeah, I feel something big. I feel something big and nasty coming this way. And I feel like I should already know what it is. And I don't know why I don't. But I feel like I should. I'm you see the goosies? Do you see my goosebumps? I feel like I should know what it is. I feel it. And I think I'm going to feel stupid when I realize what it is, because I should have known what it was. Pay attention to your body. Your body will give you clues. And I feel like I'm backed up in a blind with about 2 packs of Cody's around me, and I'm just supposed to be really quiet and wait for the danger to pass. I just constantly feel like I'm being stalked by predators. I just constantly feel like I'm in a place where I have to be super careful and super aware and super hyper vigilant. And even with the career I had, and as careful as I was, I didn't normally feel like this. So why am I feeling like it now? Look, I'm doing it again. So why am I feeling like this now? I don't know. But I think with all of this, as I've watched people devolve, I think it's kind of sent me back to, a simpler line of communication with my body and my mind and my soul. And I appreciate it. Okay, Denise, yeah. Oh yeah, there's lots of books that have been written about it. I read the book by William Cooper that he wrote back in the 80s, and it basically lines everything out. I mean, just basically lines everything out. I've got so many books read. I'm reading so many books that a friend sent to me. Some of it's about neuro crap, and some of it's about the human biofields and the electrical components of the body and the brain, and it's really great reading, but it also makes me very aware of how easily manipulated our core functions can be. But it also makes me very aware that our body should be giving us warning signals before this happens. And our bodies should be telling us that something unnatural is occurring. Why are we not, well, I kind of sometimes am, but why are more of us not feeling when unnatural things are occurring? I know many of you know I have problems with my ears, and I have bone marrow and bones in my ears where I should not have bone marrow. So I have a resonance in my ears that is much more sensitive than most people. So I hear vibrations and like pulses, and like if there's like a boom somewhere, it will jiggle, and I will know there has been a detonation somewhere. I will know, like when someone's blasting a basement 5 miles down the road, I'll be like, what was that? And David's like, what was what? And then he'll go on, he'll be like, oh, somebody's blasting the basement. They sent out a thing, And I was like, oh, I heard it. He's like, no, you didn't. No, I heard it. It jarred me. I called him from work one day, and I said, something is going on. It's giving me the worst headache. I said, it's just, the whole house is just vibrating, and I can't make it stop, and it's making me nauseous. And I said, it hurts in the back of my ears. And he's like, well, you got fluid in your ears. I said, I don't have any fluid in my ears. I said, it's just killing me. I said, I don't know what it is, but when I step on the porch, I hear it more. And he said, you must be going to come down with a migraine. Just go to bed. I put cotton in my ears. I wrapped a towel around my head. I had pillows over my head. And I was just like for 3.5 hours just trying to survive because it hurt so bad. The jarring was so bad. David, a couple, 3 days later, went about a half mile down the road to the guy that owns a bunch of chicken houses, and he was talking to him, and he was like, you've got a crack in the foundation of your chicken house. He's like, yeah, that happened the other day when the guy down the road decided he was going to drill a new well, and they ended up having to drill, so much farther than he thought, and they had to bring in that massive crane and drill. And David was like, when was that? And he was like, oh, about 4 days ago. He said, cracked my flipping foundation. He said, now I'm going to have it repaired. And David came home and he was like, oh, they were drilling a huge well. And they had to call in one of the huge cranes that drills. The one with huge, big drills that they pull the crane up to hold it and it drills down. Because the well was so deep. I heard it from like 3.5 miles away. It rumbled back here. My ears are screwed up. Well, I say my ears are screwed up. Maybe they're made for something important here that I'm going to know about in the future. I don't know. I think they're screwed up, but maybe they're going to help me at some point. But I'm super sensitive to certain things, and here lately it seems like my RSD is trying to improve, and my body is trying to fight. But then my body's also saying something's not right. Something's not right. I took Ch-Tag out last night to potty. And y'all know that sometimes I have stuff that kills my solar lights on my fence, pulls the wires out. It has to have a hand and a thumb to do that. I've had things slap the side of the house. I've had things whistle outside my house. I've gone ginsenging and, I heard the steps above the bench that I was working and popped up and could find nothing, but I still heard the steps. I've gotten a lot of weird experiences. Appalachia's full of a lot of haints and weird stuff, and if you're native, you know a little bit more about it than normal. And I used to not take a lot of stock in it. But a few years ago, stuff started happening around this house that was just not normal. Just not normal. I'm a big burly woman that's armed very well. Nobody's going to come on my property and test me. And the night that whatever slapped my house, I thought it was my husband that had locked himself out, and so he slapped on the side of the house to get my attention. And I was pissed because I thought, how dare you scare the snot out of me? So I go ranting and raving and throw up the front door, and nothing, nobody, nothing. And it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop, which is normally there's frogs, crickets, everything. At least moths flying around the light on the porch. Nothing. The dog would not even go outside. And I thought, okay, well, whatever's looking at me is probably thinking, oh, I've scared her. So I stepped out on my porch, because by God, you ain't going to scare me. I'm going to step right out and say, bring it, son. And so I stepped out, and I had on my eat shit and die face, because I wear it quite often. And I was listening. And then my husband breached the hill, and I thought, well, obviously it wasn't him, because there's one way in, one way out, and he could not have done that and gotten away and gotten back. It's just not possible. And then when I had Kazi, I was sitting in the recliner. It was one of those nights I was not feeling well. I was sitting in the recliner, and we had the window cracked because it was kind of warm. And I started hearing a melodic whistle outside the window, and I thought, I'm not hearing that. You don't ever pay attention to a whistle after dark in Appalachia. You just don't. You do not. You didn't hear it. You don't make any mention of it. You don't even look in its way. You just slowly walk back to the house and, nope, didn't hear a thing, and act like life goes on. And I was like, okay, I'm probably just hearing that. It's probably just the wind whistling through the window or the screen or something. Until my dog went whoop. And I just grabbed his little head and turned it back and pet him. And I was like, no, we don't pay attention. And as soon as things calmed down and he stopped looking toward the window, I went and shut the window. And I don't really think a whole lot about these things. But I will say that in the last 3 years, it seems like there's been a whole lot more crap like that happen around my home. And my house is actually in an area where in the late 70s, the early 80s, there was a tornado came through and killed, I'm like a tenth of a mile from where a tornado killed a whole bunch of people. It sat down and just basically killed everybody in the little subdivision. And so I am very close to where that tornado, I'm still in its path where it went, because they ended up strip mining the land, and then we had to wait 20 years, and then they finally sold the land and we bought. But I'm very close to where a lot of people were killed. My dad was on an ambulance squad, and when I bought here, he was like, why in the heck did you? And I said, listen, David bought it before he told me, or I wouldn't have bought here. And so some of it I took like, okay, well, that may be some of it. You know, tragedy occurred here, and it's kind of stuck. But there's been a lot of strange stuff. But when I took Chaytek out the last night he was here last night, they picked him up about 9. And so about 8:30, I needed to take him out to potty. And every night that I took him out to potty, I would take him out on a leash after dark, because I didn't want him to run away and me not be able to see him, and then me have to chase this dog in the dark to try to find him. So I'd take him out on a leash. And during the day, he would go everywhere in the yard with me. Everywhere. Play, be happy, happy-go-lucky. He was great. And after dark, he did not want to go to my back fence. He wanted no part of the part of my land that hooks in that goes down to the freshwater spring. He wanted no part of it. And would growl and put his ridge up, put his mohawk up on his back, and would be upset. And I would assure him it was okay. Of course, I have a big spotlight that I take out with us when we go out. And I would finally get him to go potty, but he was very uneasy, and and there are a couple nights here at home that he would be fine. He would just be like laid out on the floor, on the cold wood floor, chilling and sleeping. And he would just get up and go to just absolutely barking like he was trying to protect me from an invader. And I was like, chill, Shay, honey. There's nobody here bigger or meaner than your Mimi. I'm fine, You don't have to protect me. I'm good. And he would just get so aggravated. And Oscar has moments where he will leave the living room and go to the bedroom and get in his pillow, in his hammock bed, and he doesn't want to be in the living room. And I noticed that at the moments Che was doing this, Oscar had already evacuated the living room and was in his hammock bed. And I was like, huh. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe, when I had my blue healer here, I had a little bit more indication that, yeah, maybe something was moving outside, something was coming through the property. Now I don't have, a dog outside. And so having Che here was kind of, I don't know, it kind of reminded me that maybe I do need another dog, but that maybe I'm not crazy, and maybe that something is going on. But it's just been really weird. Just had a Miller fly into my light fixture. Oh, it got out. But it's been kind of strange. I don't know. And the more strange behavior I notice in people, it seems like the more it amps up at home. So, anybody else feeling that? Like, it's just really weird. Like, I'm not like a scaredy cat or anything. I'm pretty much a bull in a china shop and go and do what I want to do. Go where I please. But it's just been really weird. It's like, I don't know. It's just like the evil on the earth is like compounded. Denise said animals know more than we. Oh, yeah. Your masters will work at walls. Yeah, Che was doing a lot of that too. I had a very eventful childhood that maybe one day I'll tell you about. Kids might think I'm crazy. So I'm not oblivious to a lot of stuff. But I also know that I have a lot of power within myself, and I have a lot of power. I have a lot of power because I'm I'm a child of Christ, so I have a huge amount of power. But I just feel like there is just like, I mean, if you start looking into like the crypto world, which when things start really getting dingy, I will actually go and start looking at the crypto world. Do you know that like Bigfoot and Dogman and other things that you don't want to say, the reportings of things like that are up like 100, 200%. Like they're inundated with so many more visual sightings and encounters and more reports than they can actually manage right now. And it's like, why would all of a sudden, and like people are putting their names to it. They're like, I don't care anymore. You can use my name, tell my story, you know. And I'm like, why would within 3 years people get so bold that almost 200 times the number of people would offer up their story and their name and their livelihood and their sanity and their possible career and community standing? Makes you wonder. Makes you absolutely wonder. Yeah, more states are reporting it also. So, I don't know. Makes you wonder. Anyway, that's my random thoughts for the day. I guess if I was somebody that smoked, that would be my high ideas for the day. But I don't smoke. So I guess it's just my stupid thoughts for the day. But, I mean, if you believe in good, you have to believe in evil. And I definitely believe in evil because I've seen it in human form. And if it's in human form, it's probably in many more forms. Oh yeah, my area is big time. Yeah, we've got a lot of quartz here. We've got a lot of quartz and granite. So we got a lot of. It's the Thunderdome of crypto. And you know, I've been in the woods and had some weird things happen. I've actually had my name called, and when I was little, tried to be lured into the woods. And my great granny would always say, if you hear your name in the woods, you run. If you hear your name in the woods, you run. If you hear your name in the woods, you run. And so I was little, and I was supposed to be checking chicken houses, and I heard my name in the woods, and I ran. That was what I was told to do, so I ran. And we heard it again several years later, only it was mimicking our little cousin. And we thought our little cousin had locked himself in the chicken house. So we went in and we told Grandma and Grandpa that our little cousin must have locked himself in the chicken house when he went to check eggs. And they were like, no. And we were like, yeah, we heard him holler. He's hollering for the dog, probably to get the dog's attention, to get him to bark, to get Jens out there. And they're like, no, honey, he's not here today. But we heard my little cousin calling for the dog behind the, it sounded like he was in the chicken house, so whatever it was must have been behind the chicken house. And my grandma had one of those, her chicken house was basically like an outbuilding because it had its own glass door. My grandma's chickens had it was just a luxury apartment for chickens. And it was huge. And I never wanted to be close to those woods. And I went squirrel hunting once in those woods and got about 20 or 30 minutes in the squirrel hunt, and I looked at my brother and my husband, and I was like, I'm out. I'm going back to the house. I can't take these woods. And everybody else is like, yeah, we don't like the feel of it either, and we left. There has been somebody now build a track and build a home back in there, and I keep wanting to find out who it is and ask them how they like living there, because it's by my grandparents' old home where all that happened. But I have not figured out who bought that and built that house yet, though. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of strange things happen. But yeah, if you look at the crypto world right now, it's booming. It's booming. And it's booming with things that people are now, they don't know how to identify. And the ranch out in Utah, and I will not say the first name of it, it's having more activity that they don't know how to quantify or to test. I don't know. It's just strange. Something to think about. So yeah, if you really want to like take your brain on a trip, go to Brighteon and search for that Synergy. Psinergy. And you don't have to swallow everything. Just have an open mind and listen. Even if you just take 1% and mull it around. Adding thoughts and thought processes is a great thing. There are some things that I find this woman extremely intelligent on. And she makes me feel stupid. And then there's some things that I can't follow, and I'm going to have to go back and rewatch and try to follow again. Or I may not be able to ever follow it. But I do know that some of the things she's speaking about, I'm starting to hear physicians speak about, especially neurologists and virologists. And that correlation, I'm wondering if there's a causation. And I'm trying to figure it out. If I do, I'll let you know. Maybe tomorrow night, maybe tonight, I'll try to think of all my weird story happenings that have occurred to me, and maybe tomorrow night we'll do a scary story time because David has to work, and I'll tell you all the strange things that's happened to me. But I'm a fairly normal person, but I have had a lot of strange things happen to me. But normally when I get these really bad feelings, something bad happens. And I've had one for a couple of days now. But anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I love you guys. I will check back in tomorrow. Okay, as long as you don't think I'm crazy. I think a lot of people have strange things happen. They just don't know how to talk about it. I just need to make a list to make sure I don't leave anything out. I've had a lot of stuff happen because when I start talking, then I'll forget. I need to make a list. But I'll do that tomorrow night. As long as I feel good, we'll do that tomorrow night. Right now, I'm going to eat some dinner and I'm going to chill because I'm tired. And I've done too much today. And that migraine whipped my butt this morning. So I'm going to go rest. Y'all have a good night. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys.